So I was reading this book earlier on The Shortness of Life by Seneca, and I noticed this quote that really resonated with me. You live as if you are destined to live forever. And it really made me think about society and the modern world that we have today. And everybody believes that we just have an enormous amount of time and we're going to live forever. It seems like we can just sit and scroll all day long and never have to worry about our immediate problems. Like nowadays, people literally live as if we're going to live forever, or that we're going to live until we're 60, 70, 80, maybe even 100. But what we don't realize is any tragedy could happen, any accident can happen. We might die tomorrow, we might die today. We don't know when we're gonna die, only God knows that. So how can we, as just measly humans, think that we can just sit around, be in pleasure all the time, literally just waste our days away? We have no urgency for our goals or our tasks or our mission, and we don't really follow our duty anymore, especially men. Like everybody just eats junk food all day long, they don't care about their health, they don't think about instant and delayed gratification, they just want instant pleasure constantly, and they never want to build anything out of themselves or go through any hardship or pain or discomfort in the current moment. They just want to push it off and off and off and always procrastinate instead of just getting things done in the current moment, because the current moment is all we have. It's our duty to use our intelligence and capabilities and maximize what we have. And so if we were going to die tomorrow, we could look back and feel like we lived a fulfilled life. So number one, dopamine detox. You need to stop being overstimulated by junk food, alcohol, drugs, social media, scrolling literally for hours and hours and hours on end. Netflix, YouTube, all of this crap that you just have filling your day and, going out and partying, all of this ridiculous shit. You need to get rid of it, to be totally honest. You live day to day, you don't plan anything out, you don't have a structure, you don't have a schedule, and you're kind of just living your life away. You're wasting your life away. So we have a neurochemical in our brain called dopamine, which gets released when we're anticipating a reward or when we do something, get a reward for it, then we get dopamine instantly. So our dopamine levels spike and then they reduce. So dopamine is very powerful if we're able to use it efficiently and understand it. But when we don't understand it and we just be a feather in the wind and let life just punch us in the face, that's when we can't get anything done. We can't work, we can't open a book and read a page because everything just feels too difficult and too hard and we just want pleasure instead. So this is the number one thing that you need to do immediately. Even if you forget everything else in this video, dopamine detox and rewiring your brain is the number one thing that you absolutely need to do. Otherwise you're cooked. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, anytime you want to sit and record a video or sit and do your work or like read a book or just be alive in the present moment and be grateful for what you have, you never can, because you're always just thinking of other things and comparing yourself with others, drinking alcohol, taking drugs, just for this short-term pleasure. Like, come on, you are way more capable and you have so much more potential, and you're just wasting it for a little dopamine hit. Every time you do it, you feel bad about yourself, you get a short-term hit, and then you think, well, I shouldn't have done that, I feel kind of crap now. And then you want to do it again even more because your dopamine levels have gone below baseline. So then you keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and your baseline keeps getting lower and lower and lower. You're never going to get happiness and fulfillment from short-term pleasure. And you might think, oh, well, I'll just do it on the side a little bit here and there. It's not that big of a deal. It is that big of a deal, because then it does become an addiction. Whether it's eating junk food every day, whether it's playing video games like 2 hours a day, whether it's pornography, drugs, alcohol, anything, right? It starts off small and then your baseline gets reduced, so you need more of a hit, so you keep going and going and going. That's why people can play video games for 12 hours a day. You need to cut the sauce. You need to get rid of this bullshit and live a fulfilled life. You need to do delayed gratification. So here's some examples of delayed gratification. Lifting in the gym, even though you don't see results straight away. But not only do you build a body in the future that you're so incredibly proud of, but you also have been through a level of discipline and hard work and consistency, and it rewires your brain. I spoke about this in my previous video if you want to check that out. Continually posting content or working on your side hustle, drop shipping, a clothing brand you have, or maybe just studying at the moment for your exams. All of this stuff, it doesn't feel that gratifying immediately because it's not, but it's delayed gratification, because when the exam comes and you smash it, you feel great and you've actually accomplished something. Or when the business starts doing well because you kept consistently working hard, that's when you feel the gratification. Learning skills, eating clean, cutting body fat, reading daily, praying, saying no to distractions, choosing discipline when no one else is watching, spending time with friends and family, playing a board game instead of a video game. All of these things, you will start to not only enjoy them more when your dopamine levels have been reduced and you're no longer just absolutely fried and overstimulated, but you will be constantly setting your future self up for success instead of setting your future self up for failure. And that's the biggest thing, because you can wake up and think, I'm grateful for myself for doing that, instead of feeling like, oh fuck, I should have started this 5 years ago, or 2 years ago, or even last night, I shouldn't have done that. Instead of living in regret, start incorporating delayed gratification into every endeavor of your day-to-day life, and you will be much, much happier, fulfilled, and purposeful. And your dopamine levels will be much better. Life will be more enjoyable anyway. Even the little things in life, you will actually think, wow, that's amazing. Number 2 is working out, and we've spoke about it a little bit, but it's just so incredibly important, and like I mentioned, it rewires your brain, and you can also use those principles and mental models into anything else, like a business or studying, or just you've got analogies in your mind to help you understand your day-to-day life better. You understand you need consistency for whatever it is that you're trying to do in life. You understand that results don't come immediately, and you have to work hard for a certain period of time until you start to see a small amount of results, but that is positive enough and gratifying enough that you will keep going until you get your ultimate dream goal. It helps you realize, for example, at the start of the gym, you're not going to enjoy it. It's actually going to be quite brutal and painful and not that fun. But if you stick to it, you will slowly start to enjoy it. And, you know, we don't always have to enjoy the things that we do. There's workouts that you're going to want to miss, but you have to be disciplined and work out regardless of how you feel. That transfers into other areas of your life. It becomes a skill that you build and you develop. You build more confidence, you build more self-esteem and self-respect. You start to love yourself more. You start to give advice to others. You start becoming obsessed over one part of life, and once you solve this one, you can now solve the other parts of life. It all starts with working out, to be honest. And also, even all of these billionaires and these guys who make lots of money and they never care about working out, look at them now. Like Mark Zuckerberg, I have no hate against him, but I'm just saying, he's like a skinny nerd, he made all the money, blah blah, but look at him now. Now he's training MMA, jiu-jitsu, and he's smashing it. Because working out is just incredibly important as a man. And like Brian Johnson, he used to be overweight and horrible, and now he's like the healthiest person on the planet. So it goes to show you need to work out regardless of who you are, and it's just something that's absolutely necessary. And finally, there's a quote that you've probably heard, but I absolutely love it. No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. That's by Socrates. So number 3, pleasure and pain. So you need to stop seeking consistent pleasure and enjoy some hardship, some pain, some character building. And whenever goes wrong in life, you need to just brush it off and be like, yeah, cool, that's part of my story, I'm gonna keep going. You need to stop avoiding your problems and running away from them, and you need to just start taking action. That's the biggest thing. We all run away from our problems, and we don't want to start, we want to procrastinate, but you need to realize we're not gonna live forever. So you need to take action today and try to do as much as you can, and even if you fail, that's okay, because you can keep trying again and again and again, or you can pivot, you can learn from your experiences. But sitting there and just overthinking and not even trying at all, you're not gonna make any progress. That's the true failure, because you're not beginning. We're just too dopaminated and we enjoy pleasure too much. There's no hardship anymore. Of course we have our personal difficulties, but there's no difficulty that we actually have unless we create it ourselves, like working out or working on a business, or, you know, reading books, or even like cold approaching girls. And whatever skills it is that you're struggling with, you'll know within you deep down what you need to work on or what you need to improve. You just need to go and do it. Like, nobody's gonna come to save you, nobody's gonna push you to do it. You need to just force yourself to do it yourself. You need to build that motivation to start, but motivation is fleeting, so you need to force yourself and use discipline to carry on. The thing is, man, whenever anything bad happens to me in my life, I just think, cool, it's part of my story, it's gonna build my character further, it's gonna motivate me further to achieve my goals. I don't sit there and cry. And you need to take full responsibility of your life, because nobody is going to save you. Nobody is gonna take the blame. And when you're on your deathbed, you can't blame anybody else. You need to have a level of personal accountability and responsibility that everything I do is my fault and I need to change my life and my circumstances. And when you do that, though it is annoying, it's painful, it's also quite liberating, because you realize it's up to me, but that also means that I can change. I can change my destiny, my future. It's not anybody else's fault for the way that you look, the way that you think, or the way that your body is, how much you scroll, or how addicted you are to video games, or maybe that drinking problem that you have. None of that matters. And when people remember you, they're not going to think, oh, well, he had a hard life, so that's why he ended up that way. No one gives a fuck. So you need to realize it's up to you and you alone. You're either going to have a good legacy or a bad one, and you need to start building it today, because what if you die tomorrow? So number 4, delay gratification and work towards your goal or purpose in life. So for a long time, I didn't actually have one, but I improved myself first, and then that's how I was able to think of a goal and purpose that I have a mission to strive for. But these small short-term goals, maybe getting a driver's license, maybe getting in shape, getting respect from others, that's a really big one that I wanted. And like, yeah, now I have the respect. Maybe improving your social skills, making new friends, creating new relationships, relationships and creating new experiences. These are all, you know, skill sets that you can build and achieve, and I've pretty much done all of them that I've mentioned. The thing I'm working on is building a legacy and successful career. Almost everything else in life I've actually achieved, and I want the same for you, because life not only gets much more easier, you don't have these thoughts and you don't overthink about all of these small checkpoints that you wish that you got, or like how many different things that you want to improve, because you've done most of them. And then there's just one big goal that you're kind of working on, and that's the stage that I'm at. So if you are at that stage, you get a huge amount of clarity and a level of drive, and you know like exactly where you want to go, instead of it being all foggy and you have no idea where to go. It's like driving without any headlights. You're going to be scared, you're not going to know what you're doing. But once you achieve some of these short-term goals and you start working towards a vision or a goal that you have, then the headlights turn on, and you might already have this long-term vision or goal in mind. What you can do is work on it at the moment, but the point is you need to work on both the short-term and the long-term ones, because those short-term ones will start to eat at you eventually in the future, because you're procrastinating on them and you're delaying them. So that's it for this video. I really hope that it helped you. Drop a comment and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.